What up, my fellow Knicks fans? This is your guy Marcellus Ease, and don't panic quite yet. Now in part 5 of this segment right here, we'll go over how the 76ers got a little get back for letting game 2 slip away. And even through the struggles of Joel Embiid, with Mitchell Robinson being inserted back into the lineup, the 76ers offense flowed through Tyrese Maxey as he was pretty much in a one-on-one shootout with Jalen Brunson throughout this matchup. But I'm not going to say no more. Let's just get to it.
See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out.
So to start off this matchup, the 76ers were shooting bad, but the ironic thing is that the Knicks were even shooting worse, as we missed our first 8 shots. And pouring more salt into the wound is Donte DiVincenzo finding himself into foul trouble, racking up 3 personal fouls, just barely getting into the start of the second quarter. But with Mitchell Robinson inserted back into the rotation, the Knicks were able to implement a new dynamic with trying to contain Joel Embiid. So to start off this matchup, we see very early on that the Knicks want to test Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. As right here, they're going to put 2 on Maxey to not force him to make that turn. See Hartenstein completely hedges, and things get interesting coming off this pick. As right here, we're going to see Donte and OG quickly rotate and force Joel Embiid to make someone else make a play. Either Oubre with OG getting back to contest that, or Kyle Lowry, who has been cold shooting from 3. Now, once again, right here, right in the elbow, they're going to send 2 on Embiid, forcing somebody else to make a play, as Tobias Harris stays red hot in that first half. So again, Joel Embiid operating out of the post. They're going to send 2 on him with Josh Hart and force someone else to make that play. Tobias Harris, man, rarity of him knocking down shots. Now as Maxey comes down the court here and rejects his screen, pay attention to OG. That's all his focus is going to be on Embiid, making sure that he doesn't operate out of this high post area. They're going to try to force someone else to make a play. So as the Knicks look to contain Embiid operating out of these elbows. Now as the Knicks look to contain Embiid operating out of the elbow, Josh Hart, once he steps in for the double team, pay attention to OG on the rotation, as he's going to force Tyrese Maxey to step into a different shot. This right here is one good benefit of having Josh Hart stick to Maxey initially, because not only in the rotations, the Knicks actually have OG protect the rim or be the first rotational man to contest a shot. So this way they sort of could put pressure on Embiid and Maxey at the same time, double teaming Embiid around the elbows and having OG as the first rotational man to contest either the initial pass or a shot attempt. So next play right here, we're going to see it play out perfect, as initially OG was on Tobias Harris, the non-shooter. Now when the double team comes from Donte DiVincenzo, we're going to see him rotate and be the initial person to contest either the kick out or the initial shot by Tyrese Maxey. See Embiid right there, didn't know what to do. So right here we see OG ended up on Maxey even though Embiid had the turnover. So right here we see Josh Hart is the one that's guarding Maxey coming off this pick. Pay attention to OG, as he's right there to contest Embiid at the rim. But these kind of battles down low will be taxing as the series progresses, as Embiid will have to battle against Mitchell Robinson, OG Anunoby, and also Mitchell Robinson. Now speaking of the Mitchell Robinson dynamic right here, we're going to see Mitch move mountains, boy. Look how he shoves Maxey, making Embiid work for that. Look at Embiid, yo. He got to work. Man, Embiid is going to be tired. He's going to be completely gassed through 4 quarters of this. Once again, the 76ers are going to have to continue to battle the Knicks' depth on their roster. This is really going to test Embiid's stamina going up against Mitch, OG, and Hartenstein. Mitch is not only going to be a problem for Embiid on the offensive end for the 76ers, but also defensively, as Embiid fails to protect the Knicks from getting second chance opportunities. So right here we see Embiid have the ability to drive on Mitch after Brunson checks out of that stunt, and he just elects to shoot it. Looks like Mitch is already bothering him. So as Mitch falls to the ground, we're going to see Embiid have plenty of space to drive on Mitch, and he's pretty reluctant to. Shot clock winding down. He's going to end up just settling. Now in this inbound, check out Embiid as he is going to have to fight to get in position. And look at Kyle Lowry as he's holding Mitch. Embiid is wide open. He still misses. It's like Mitch got him second guessing himself. Once again, like I said before, Embiid does not want to drive on Mitch. Look at the clumsiness as Mitch gets the charge. So with Brunson being hot in game 4, let's see the first couple of looks as Kyle Lowry stunts in a little bit but doesn't fully commit, and surprisingly they leave him wide open for a good look, especially after coming from game 4. Now this play right here is going to be a reoccurring theme throughout this series, as we're going to see Kelly Oubre be off position. And I'm wondering as this series progresses how Nick Nurse inserts Nick Batum into the scenario, as he has much better positioning offensively as well as defensively. As right here, we're going to see Brunson get the ball. Look at Kelly Oubre, not even paying attention. But Brunson loses it right there. But once again, there's a reason why Kelly Oubre, even though at times this season he's been averaging close to 20 points per game, but there's a reason why he's a minimum salary player. And his off-ball movements, whether offensively or defensively, at times his positioning is questionable. So knowing that Nick Nurse and the 76ers have a player like Nick Batum on the bench who has really good instincts in those type of scenarios, it'll be very interesting to see if they can get him in good spots throughout this series. Now right here, the 76ers are going to play very similar defense to the Knicks on Maxey. Embiid hedges right here, and he's not supposed to let Brunson make this turn. Right here, we're going to see it play out where Embiid, he still allowed Brunson to make that fucking turn. And this bucket right here is completely Embiid's fault. So right here, once again, with the Knicks offense just recovering after this slow start, we're going to see Embiid aggressively show that he's going to hedge and prevent Brunson from making any type of turn. So now we're going to see the great chemistry between Hartenstein and Brunson as Hartenstein slips right here and makes his way to the basket. See Embiid aggressively tries to hedge and Hartenstein right there to make the play, operating out of the short roll. So remember in game 4 how Brunson was consistently hunting Tobias Harris on these switches. He wanted Oubre off of him, and we've seen him purposely hunt Harris down, and you're about to see the reasonings why, because the long length of Kelly Oubre really bothers Brunson. You can see it right here as he forces the turnover. Now right here, we're going to see the difference between the 76ers playing defense when Brunson's one-on-one with Oubre. As you can see, no one stunts in, tries to get in Brunson's way. No one stunts in at all. Everyone kind of stick to where they're at. And it's going to be a complete turnaround once they get the switch right here. Now notice with this switch, the defensive schematics change as we're going to watch Tyrese Maxey kind of get into this fold. See? The long length of Oubre really bothers Brunson, but he was able to convert right there on the mismatch going up against Cameron Payne. But when it comes to Oubre, they don't lean in as much. And that's because throughout this series, Brunson hasn't converted at a higher rate going up against Oubre. So right here at this point of the game, with the Knicks offense surging, we're going to see the 76ers stick Oubre right on Brunson at the initial point of attack. And the 76ers are kind of going to go back to a game 1 look right here with Maxey stunting in. There goes that triangle that we've seen from game 1 and 2. Stopping Brunson's mid-range attack. You got the guy right behind him in Oubre. You got someone else stunting in fully. And Brunson having to deal with Embiid protecting the rim. But right there, Brunson was able to draw the foul and get to the line. So right here, we got 3 shooters on the strong side loaded up. And we got Mitch that's going to run a pick on the empty side to have Brunson going downhill. Embiid playing drop back coverage. Brunson is going to draw up a nice spacing right here to pull up for the J. And this matchup right here with him and Nick Batum, this will play out huge in the rest of this segment. But this time around, Brunson burns him right here. A few possessions later, we're going to see the chemistry between Hartenstein and Brunson. As Hartenstein initially looks like he was going to screen, but it's really a ghost screen as he's going to slip and Brunson's going to hit him with the pass. He's able to draw the foul. Took advantage of Embiid trying to hedge that screen, not allowing Brunson to make that turn. A little overzealous. Hartenstein makes him pay for it. Now going back to a point I brought up earlier with Nick Batum, just his awareness of where to be on the court. Off this pick, we see the switch on Maxey. Batum knows Brunson is hunting for Maxey in that mismatch. As right here, he gives Maxey a chance to recover and everything resets. Look at Batum right here once again on this double team, and they force McBride to make this shot. The key thing right here is to force someone else to make a jumper outside of Jalen Brunson. So with the shot clock winding down here, we're going to see a reoccurring theme as Nick Batum is put on Jalen Brunson. And in a league with so much talent, you got to wonder why Nick Batum is still valuable. It's because he knows where to be. And some of the smaller things like off-ball movement, his footwork, certain techniques are very valuable within some of these NBA veterans, especially during playoff times and moments like this. But OG and Josh Hart right here are going to have a miscommunication, as it looks like OG should have been in the corner, which would have provided better spacing. But because of that lack of spacing, we're going to see Maxey press on and double team Brunson. Now Josh Hart has no choice but to leap this right here. But mainly in this possession, this is what we're focused on. The fact that Batum is one-on-one with Jalen Brunson with the shot clock winding down. This dynamic will play out through the course of this game. Now getting into Tyrese Maxey, we'll take a look at some of the ways he's dealing with the Knicks' rotational defense. As right here, Josh Hart stunts right in. Embiid makes the pass. But this is why OG is not on Tyrese Maxey, is to contest this initial pass right here. See, make it real uncomfortable for Maxey right here. And also what the Knicks do from time to time, they make it uncomfortable for him to make the next pass right here. They try to have someone get in the way of that, or just make it uncomfortable for this shooter to get that off. But they changed Maxey's look right here. Now here's another way Maxey can actually generate offense for himself, is with taking advantage of the gravitational pull that Embiid draws, including Josh Hart right here. So not only Embiid has to fight to get the ball, he attracts multiple defenders. See, now on this closeout right here, we got OG who could contest Maxey's shot. But also, it's going to be up to Dante to rotate also to prevent Kyle Lowry in case he pops out right here to shoot. See OG right there on the rotation. As soon as Josh Hart stunts in, OG contests, but it's a really great conversion by Maxey right there. So right here we have Embiid and Maxey operating on the empty side. Loaded up the weak side with a bunch of shooters. And also OG serving as the low man. So he is going to contest Maxey's shot. But Maxey's so fast. But right here is exactly where the Knicks want Maxey to deal with someone like OG down here. But Maxey's so quick that he converts on this real fast. Now Tyrese Maxey really doesn't need that much space to operate in. As we're going to see Nick Batum off ball set a nice screen on Josh Hart to get Maxey just enough space to get through this little crevice, and he could use that speed. It's just so fast. Right here is another example of his speed, as he's going to pull kind of a similar move as Brunson, kind of stutter step, and he just uses that speed to blow past Josh Hart. Now right here with the clock winding down, you're going to see the Knicks break a few principles that they have when it comes to Maxey. The principle of not letting him turn right. Hartenstein should have hedged more. He should have hedged a lot more. But right here, the double screen action from the 76ers. And Maxey's going to be able to turn and just go straight downhill. Look how fast. Like 2 seconds. He still gets there on time. So the dynamic of the non-Embiid minutes in the first half played out where he sat out in the first quarter with 1 minute and 21 seconds left, all the way through the second quarter where he checked back in with 9:24 left. And in that time frame, the Knicks were able to get 11 points on 66% shooting. But they did lose out on some opportunities as they had 3 turnovers in that time frame. And it could have added to them having a bigger run in that second quarter, because what carried over to the non-Embiid minutes was the poor shooting from the 76ers, as they had 6 points on 28% shooting with 1 turnover. But Embiid was able to check back in the second quarter with the game tied at 28 apiece. But the Knicks were on an 11-2 run, and it definitely should have been more than that. So the non-Embiid minutes were effective, but they didn't squeeze the most juice that they could out of it. Now entering the third quarter, once again, the Knicks are offensively struggling in the start of a quarter. And now we see Kelly Oubre on Jalen Brunson, as right here, Brunson's going to hunt for the switch. And now he has Tobias Harris on him. And ironically, even through these offensive struggles, we don't see anyone kind of stunt in and kind of get in Brunson's way. Because right here, he starts to dance on Tobias Harris. See, nobody's double teaming. I'm shocked right here. Nobody's really double teaming. And throughout this series, this has been an issue of ours where we have a rough start in the first quarter and the third quarter. But right here, the 76ers get burnt for not sending that double team. Just keep in mind, we see the reasoning why Brunson right here hunts for Tobias Harris instead of Oubre, because that length just bothers him. So right here, take a look at an advantage that Jalen Brunson had over Tyrese Maxey in their duel throughout this series, is he can make these passes among the double team. Maxey at time, he fails to find the open shooter, and he kind of goes tunnel vision when attacking the hoop. He tends to go all out on making the difficult shot instead of making the initial pass. But Brunson right here, he shows that within the double team, he can make the play. As Josh Hart gets the and 1. Now with Jalen Brunson being the only one offensively that's cooking right now, we see how the Knicks set these screens way up high, and the only reason Embiid comes out is to prevent Brunson on this pull-up 3 that he likes to take. But right here, Brunson takes full advantage by beating the slow-footed Embiid right to the cup to draw the foul. So check out Jalen Brunson hunting for Tobias Harris. He sees Kelly Oubre right on him. Asks for that switch. He gets Harris right on him. I'm telling you, throughout this series, you'll see Brunson already knows which players that he likes to cook on the switch. Maxey, Embiid, up high, and Tobias Harris. But the players that do bother him is Kelly Oubre and Nick Batum. And speaking of third quarter defense, check out the mismatch right here with Brunson and Embiid, and check out the rotations that's going to happen with OG, Dante, Hart, and Jalen Brunson to get off that switch. So Embiid has Jalen Brunson. Look at Hartenstein. He stunts in. Brunson is trying to get back. OG is going to get to the restricted to contest that shot. Look at Dante helping out. It's like almost everyone's in sync. And Embiid, of course, he fucks up on the pass. This is something we have not seen from him throughout the season. He's been a playmaker in this new Nick Nurse offense, but in this series so far, he's been kind of clunky when it comes to his passing. Let's take a look at that again. 76ers get the mismatch. Embiid gets the ball. Hartenstein stunts before Embiid puts the ball on the floor or just makes his first move. Brunson gets back. OG is getting ready to get to the restricted area. Yeah, there's a lot of switches happening right here, but this Knicks defense is looking in sync right now. So right here, Embiid getting the pass on the elbows. We see Josh Hart kind of stunting for a little bit. And as soon as he's about to make his move, Dante fully makes that commitment. Man, what a pass right there. Yo, Embiid is fucking up for real. Now the Knicks right here, once again, they're getting Embiid real uncomfortable to drive. It's right here, one-on-one with Josh Hart. They got multiple guys stunting in. Embiid never drives. He seems real uncomfortable. Got 8 seconds. Still have plenty of time before he chucked it up. But the Knicks right here have him real uncomfortable to put the ball down. Look at Hartenstein. He stunts in first. Now Dante kind of stunts in. As soon as he puts the ball on the floor, that double team is coming. And I'm surprised that he doesn't drive on Josh Hart right there. Look at the shot clock. he still has plenty of time to operate. Now this play right here is very interesting for a number of reasons. First of all, as Maxey rejects his screen and Embiid rolls, right? Watch the rotational defense, but most importantly, watch Nick Batum, as he knows exactly where to be. See, now Brunson's gonna step up to Embiid, but Batum stays put. Again, his off-ball IQ, I should say, is very high in comparison to Kelly Oubre. And I believe that this will continue to play out throughout this series. As right here, you'll see him set a nice screen for Tobias Harris. The Knicks rotational defense right here was on point, but Nick Batum with that screen set the perfect counter to that. So on the other end, with Embiid struggling, Tyrese Maxey got to cooking. As right here we see him use his speed and completely catch Josh Hart off guard. So Maxey not only uses that gravitational pull that Embiid draws with the defenders paying attention to him, but he uses that slight hesitation of just not being the on-ball threat. See right here, once Embiid catches it, Josh Hart is aware of him, but at the same time, there's like a split second where Maxey is not really a threat, so he'll use that Embiid gravitational pull along with the split second the defenders looking away, and then he'll use his speed to get to the cup. So he'll use that entry pass by Kyle Lowry right there, because at that moment, that exact moment, he is not a threat with Embiid on his way to catching this pass. So he'll use that slight hesitation of him just being that off-ball, non-threatening guy and burst. And we've seen players in the past very similar to Dwayne Wade used to use this tactic a lot. And low-key, he kind of put LeBron James onto it when he was down in Miami. So Maxey right here on the Embiid pick and roll, this is where he really started getting into his bag, where he hits Brunson with the jab step. Brunson trying to anticipate that speed, a little overzealous. But this is where he really started feeling himself. Maxey really started getting on one right here in the third as he catches everyone off guard. Very similar to Brunson coming down the sidelines throughout this series, but he caught the Knicks defense lacking right there and able to get it off glass. But damn, he's fast as fuck though. The Knicks throughout the course of this game gave Maxey a couple different looks right here. Now we see Dante on him instead of Josh Hart. And OG is really off of him because of his speed. So OG now, in case Maxey goes down the lane, OG can meet him there. And now the game plan is for the Knicks to force him to the left. Force him into Hartenstein. If he gets past Hartenstein, he has to deal with OG. So right here, we're going to see Dante hedge this. And now he's going to get into some pick and roll with Embiid. Good pass. Embiid is right there to finish. That's the only bad thing about hedging on Maxey, especially with Embiid as the roller. Eventually, Embiid is going to make you pay because you're going to have to rotate that whole defense. Embiid is an assassin from anywhere in the court. Now with Maxey cooking in this quarter, we're going to see him act like he's going to do a dribble handoff and then make a cut. And great fucking defense by Dante. Great recovery right here. Woo! Great recovery by Dante. But we're seeing the benefits right here of not having OG initially stick to Maxey. See OG? Now Maxey has to meet him at the rim. Great recovery by Dante. OG goes straight up. Great defense. And in the early portion part of this series, we've seen OG actually get beat way out here while dealing with Maxey. Because keep in mind, Maxey's speed, OG can't really use his strength to kind of counter that way out here in the perimeter. So having him as serve as the low man actually helps out in this situation perfect because he is this guy on recovery. See, Maxey now has to deal with him here where he can utilize some of that strength and length. So in the fourth quarter, the non-Embiid versus non-Jalen Brunson minutes kind of played out interesting. Embiid kept turning the ball over, so they gave him about a minute rest. And that's not enough of a time frame to actually swing the momentum of the game. So things pretty much ended up even. But in the non-Brunson minutes, the Knicks were able to take advantage of a replay. So Jalen was able to get rest there. So he really only ended up subbing out for 2 minutes. So in totality, when you add up the non-Jalen Brunson minutes versus the Embiid, you got the Knicks scoring 8 points versus the 76ers 5. And again, when you take a look at this series, it really is a game of inches. So in the fourth quarter, Maxey got off to a hot start, as right here he's going to take advantage in the pick and roll of Mitch's drop back coverage, and he pulls up. Jalen Brunson had it going in the first half, and now Maxey is starting to get it going in the fourth. Now in the fourth quarter right here, the 76ers went to an alternative lineup. They got rid of Kyle Lowry. They kept their same starters in, just kept some shooters around Maxey. So right here we're going to see Nick Batum actually contribute. And at this point in the series, this is where we begin to see some of the contributions of some of the role players that kind of sway these matchups sometimes in favor of one team versus another. So later on, Maxey continues to warm up. He uses the threat of going over Embiid's screen. He rejects it, and he's just on fire. Now right here, we're going to see Embiid battle down low right here with Mitch for positioning. And in a way, right here is going to be an unnecessary double team that's going to come along. Embiid at this point has rarely driven on Mitch. Mitch has been bothering him for positioning since the second quarter, and Embiid only has gotten a minute of rest time within this whole second half. So he wasn't going to drive on Mitchell Robinson initially, but the double team comes and Maxey just hits that three. So Maxey was definitely on one in this game, as he was able to kill the Knicks not only with his three-point shooting, but his ability to finish at the cup, especially in transition. But this play right here, with a minute left in the game, when this double team comes with McBride, this has really been a difference between him and Jalen Brunson's scoring. Is the playmaking ability or just the initial ability to make the pass out of this. We've seen Brunson, when the double team comes, Hartenstein sometimes slips and Brunson makes that bounce pass. Or sometimes he attacks and he makes the initial kick out, but it's rarely a turnover on his passing. Only really in game 3 he had a few turnovers down the stretch. But when it comes to Maxey, making some of these initial passes, man, it's just, this is where he can improve on his game. Is right here. This is a very crucial turnover. But slight differences like this really has swayed this series. And these slight differences are really by inches, but they do add up when you look at the multiple chess wars that's going on throughout this game. With the bench units, the minutes, the way Embiid versus Brunson makes their adjustments. All these things add up. But every little advantage, whether it's barely by an inch or not, it all adds up in the end. So now going to Brunson, as we see in the fourth quarter, he doesn't really draw any favorable mismatches coming off of these screens. It's real tight right here. He's one-on-one with Embiid, but watch the switch and great communication with the 76ers right here as Payne quickly switches on Brunson. Now with Embiid only getting a minute of rest on this empty side screen, Brunson is going to get a nice little matchup to take Embiid, who's too slow-footed and possibly already tired from basically playing the whole half. Now right here with the Knicks up 3, Brunson is going to call for this mismatch for this screen right here. They're trying to get Harris on it. But again, Nick Batum, being that vet, he gets skinny and he sticks with Brunson. So Brunson does not get the matchup that he wants. He wants Harris right here. But this time he's still able to burn Nick Batum. But just keep in mind of that matchup between Batum and Brunson. So now in the fourth quarter, we see a number of poor executions by the Knicks. First of all, we're up by 6 right here. And we're going to see the 76ers actually use the threat of Maxey just going downhill. And this whole play the whole time was designed for Kelly Oubre. That's going to get a quick bucket. Look at the shot clock right here. 17 seconds left. And they get a quick bucket. So under 7 seconds, they were quickly able to convert. And now the pressure is on the Knicks not only to execute at the free throw line, but also when it comes to inbounding and ball security. Let's take a look at that one more time, as McBride is really the one that gets caught off guard here. See? He's really expecting Maxey to go downhill, but that was a dribble handoff to Oubre. And plays like this is one of the things that was actually overlooked on why the Knicks lost this game. They gave up real quick buckets after shooting free throws. Now after a Deuce McBride make, the Knicks are up 6. Off this inbound right here, this is a mistake that the Knicks made. they allowed Maxey to catch the ball while coming downhill. Had they put ball pressure on him, they could initially have fouled him. Even though there's 28 seconds left, they would have been in a better position to foul Maxey had they not allowed him to catch the ball, then come downhill. Watch, see how much momentum he has already? That's not the position we want to be in. So forget the Mitchell Robinson foul. The fact that we let Maxey catch the ball like that going downhill, knowing that he's a speedy guy, is already one mistake. Now keep in mind, with a minute left in the game, after OG has stole the ball, he split the free throws. And had he made them both, we would have been up by 7. And now with Josh Hart at the line, with the ability to put us up by 4, he splits the free throws again, and instead we're up by 3. So those are 2 missed opportunities right there to begin to put this game away. Now on the last play of the game, this is where I thought Tibbs could have went small right here. See, initially, look at this pick and roll. This could have been Precious right here. He could have used his athleticism to contest this. I know Mitch wants to play drop back coverage because, you know, he doesn't want to get burned again with fouling Maxey right here. But this pull-up 3, man, I feel like Precious would have been in better position to defend that. But it is what it is. We had plenty of opportunities to put this game away, and it just was poorly executed. Now, Nick Batum to end the game played tremendous defense, not fouling Brunson and going straight up to get this block. And earlier, I had alluded to how Brunson did not like that matchup with Batum, as well as with Kelly Oubre. But the savvy vet has shown himself to be a factor. So in the overtime, Jalen Brunson continued to stay hot as he made his first 2 shots, but eventually the Knicks offense began to stall. Meanwhile, on the other end, Joel Embiid finally started to come alive, as well as defense with a crucial block and steal. And with the 76ers, they did stick with Nick Batum in that lineup to continue to bother Jalen Brunson, and in case there was any switches, they could apply Kelly Oubre. Now, despite through all the offensive struggles for the Knicks in the overtime, the 76ers got a flagrant call on them. They were able to get to the line with 2 shots on the flagrant call, but Jalen Brunson had split the free throws. And after that, he hit a 3-pointer. So instead of them going up 1, the game was tied. So after the Nick Batum turnover, with 20 seconds left to go, the Knicks are down by 2. Remember, this matchup, as I stated earlier, would play out big time in this game, as Brunson earlier burned Nick Batum 2 times at the 3-point line and sporadically throughout the quarter. But Batum was on his heels. Like I said, that veteran presence, it makes a difference, especially in these type of series. As Brunson, unlike the third quarter, he's not going to be able to look Nick Batum off right here. As Nick Batum right here does not fall for the look off, as Jalen Brunson last second tried to change his mind, but it leads to a turnover. So right here, instead of the Knicks being down by 1 point, because it should be 107 or 108 had Brunson made both of those flagrant free throws, they would still be in position to at least tie up this game. As Brunson, unlike in the fourth quarter, is unable to look Nick Batum off and hit that 3 in his face. Batum is able to get his revenge. But with Harris making both of his free throws, it began to put the game out of reach. So overall, there were things that the Knicks down the stretch could execute on a lot better going into Game 6. And even through Joel Embiid's second half struggles with 6 turnovers and just the new dynamics of Mitchell Robinson being back into the lineup, it created matchup issues for Embiid, thus putting Tyrese Maxey in the forefront, as he did have the better matchup. But Game 5 did play out with the duel of Jalen Brunson as well as Tyrese Maxey and the battle of the rollmen, as McBride gave the Knicks great minutes off the bench, scoring 14 points, as well as Nick Batum playing great defense for the 76ers on Brunson, and Mitchell Robinson making it very difficult for Joel Embiid in that second half. But for the 76ers, it looked like they had a little payback for letting Game 2 slip away. And the Knicks being up 3-2 doesn't really tell the full story of this series, as it's a lot closer than what it looks. But we'll see how it plays out for Game 6. Until next time, you fellas stay safe. Peace.